Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's on a fantastic day today. So I want to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles, a couple updates for you guys regarding coaching staff, interviews, players that could re-sign, players that could leave. We're getting more and more news every single day, and the Eagles are doing their due diligence on a lot of things right now, taking their time, not rushing anything, not settling for something, which I think is important. So let's get straight into all of the news. What is going on, guys? Your boy Joey 670 coming guys with the video right now. I hope everyone is definitely enjoying your week. The start of the Eagles offseason is here, and a lot of updates for you guys in the coming days. And, every day there's always something that we're hearing about. And I think the number one thing, we're looking at this Jalen Hurts contract, and, A.J. Brown was on some talk show, or not really a talk show, but he was with a few buddies. I don't know if that's a talk show or just a podcast in general, but did talk about the Jalen Hurts contract situation. Said, if you're not going to re-sign Jalen Hurts, just I'll follow him wherever he goes, so he was making a big joke about it. But at the end of the conversation, he was like, Howie Roseman, sign him, get the deal done. And I think that's what A.J. Brown wants. A.J. Brown is coming off his rookie deal now. Now he's going to go on, he's going to be playing on his big contract. And, him and Hurts talk. Maybe, I think this is all fun and games. I think he already knows he's going to get re-signed. I don't think he would say any of this if he wasn't. But, it's just, they want to stay together, man, and that's what matters. Another year with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts is fantastic. Obviously, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, the rest of your offense is a great thing. So, A.J. Brown wanted to make it well known that, he wants to get, make sure you get this deal done for Jalen Hurts. And I'm actually really excited to see, what this contract is actually going to look like. And obviously, all these quarterbacks are looking north of $45 million as of right now. Some of them are changing, Daniel Jones changing his, the people that, help him with these contracts. They're trying to get their money right now. A bunch of players are. So interesting enough, I want to see who the first quarterback's going to get signed and how much is it going to be, and what are they, what is this contract going to look like? I'm actually pretty excited if they're going to go crazy with this contract. They go, they pay him over 50, or they spread it out between 10 years, or they do something. I don't know. It should be interesting where this money's, where the money's going to go, but the contract should be interesting enough. Secondly, news on T.J. Edwards. It looks like there's going to be a lot of interest, yes. And I'm not surprised at all. I'm really not surprised. The Cardinals might even take him at this point, So with T.J. Edwards, undrafted linebacker, has played fantastic for us, and, has his struggles. Like Kaiser White and T.J. Edwards have had their struggles with coverage and stuff like that. But I think the Eagles are going to revamp this linebacker core, guys. Like when Kobe Dean coming back in now, I think they're going to revamp this whole linebacker core, and they might go out in free agency and get some mid-tier, maybe a mid-tier type linebacker. And I don't think they're going to pay a lot of money for one, but I think they'll get someone that will complement well with the rest of this defense as more of a role player outside of Kobe Dean. So who knows what's going to happen, because I at least had one of the two getting signed between White and Edwards, and White was kind of the odd man out. So I kind of had T.J. Edwards getting that new contract, but didn't know what it was going to look like. Don't think the Eagles are going to get into a big bidding war over T.J. Edwards and his contract. I just don't see it. If that's the case, just let him go. There's just no point. And I know we can get a better linebacker than him. Even though he's played well for us, I think we can get something better out of it. So that's the news on T.J. Edwards as of right now. Now, interesting enough, the Eagles have had two more interviews with defensive coordinators, okay? The John Leonard from Wisconsin was an interesting one. The Vance Joseph news, he'll have his interview, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I forgot, two-day interview for Vance Joseph. There is some new, coaches on the board right now. Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for Michigan. Okay, this one's really interesting. Okay, there was some news that came out on this, and they interviewed two more coordinators as of right now. So Mike Garofalo had something to say about Jesse Minter. He said, Jesse Minter coordinated one of the top defenses in the country last year. The Eagles are scamming scanning both NFL and college ranks, they talked to former Wisconsin DC Jim Leonard, reportedly, and Minter has experience at both levels, former Ravens assistant. So he was a former Ravens assistant as well. But I got to say, it looks like they're starting to go in that direction of going outside of the NFL because, look, guys, you can... I just don't want to settle for any coach in the NFL. Like, I don't want Vance Joseph to be the only guy they go after just because he's the best of what's available out there. I want the Eagles to go out and beyond their level of how much interest they could have within the NFL to going to the college ranks and maybe bringing a coach from there to over here to be the new defensive coordinator. And like I said, I don't know much about these coaches, but what I read, like they're looking at guys that know they want a defensive mind. I mean, it's showing right now that they are literally putting all their chips on the table. They are literally making sure they get the best defensive mind that they could get. I think they know what they had with Gannon, and I think they know what they would have had with Gannon, and I don't know why the Eagles offered him so much money, head coaching money, to come back this year, but Howie Roseman did say at the end of the year press conference that, yeah, they wouldn't mind a change in the philosophy of this defense. And I think that's what hurt this team. And I think, it hurt. Yeah, it gave us 14 wins. When it came down to it, you're facing the best team in the AFC in the Super Bowl, and you have no answer. You're getting outcoached, outplayed, and you didn't get your players prepared. You didn't get yourself prepared, and you just got outplayed, just plain and simple, just got beat down mentally on scheme, and that's just horrible. Your defense literally gave up, not because the players didn't know what they were doing, but you didn't put them in a good position to win this game. I mean, that's just that's just what it is at the end of the day about it. But Jesse Minter is very interesting, and they're looking at the best defensive minds in college football right now, because sooner or later, guys, like these NFL coaches that coach for years and years and years, some of them get better, some of them get worse, some of them are bad and then need to change the scenery and play good. You don't know what you're getting. Obviously everything between the draft, free agency, between everything that you do in the offseason, hiring coaches, it's a gamble because you don't know what, you base upon what you're paying them of what productivity they're going to give you, but at the end of the day, you don't know if it's going to be the right choice. It might be the right choice in your mind at the time, but you don't know if it's going to be, something that's going to be very successful. It just depends on every owner, every GM, and how they go through this process of searching for coaches. And I think the Eagles are just going in a different direction right now. They might actually have a brand new defensive, not a brand new defensive coordinator, but you know what I mean, from a guy that transforms from college to the NFL. It doesn't hurt. And I really wasn't a big fan of it, but I see the options they have out there right now, and there's really not that many. Like Vance Joseph I would take Vance Joseph right now, but I don't want to just settle for him. I want the Eagles to have more time. And obviously Vance Joseph is trying to get the Denver job as well, but I'm not going to get into a war with that either. Like, just go out and get a good defensive mind. Take a chance. You know what I mean? Like, there's a window that's open for years to come with this team, and they really need to get this straight. And the problem with coaching hires is that you don't have them for that long when you're successful, and that's the issue, too. You know what I mean? It's another problem. Like, you can go out and do all this work to get this guy, and what if he's one of the best defensive corners we've ever seen the next few years, next 2 years, and then he's gone? And that's what I can't stand about the NFL with coaching, because coaches don't stay on teams for too long. It's always a changing effect with it. So Jesse Minter is definitely one of the high suitors. Another great defensive mind and a young guy, and hey, I mean, look, I can't complain. They're not just going to settle for anybody. They're going out and expanding on what they can get in the building, and they get a young, aggressive mind, like a guy that's going to come in here and just be so aggressive and know how to use his players and knows what he wants with his defense. It doesn't have to question anything, or doesn't really need feedback from the players. That's just going to run his defense. And I don't think feedback's a bad thing, what Gannon was doing, but you want a guy who has total control over this thing. And yes, we'll listen to his players at times, but he's going to run his defense, and he's going to run it to his full advantage. That's why he's here. So Jesse Minter is definitely an interesting one. The Eagles have interviewed another defensive backs coach as well from the Rams, and is a passing game coordinator, and that's Chris Shula. Now, I think Shula and Sirianni did work together. I think in LA, with the LA Chargers, I'm not sure, or it might have been with the Rams. I know Sirianni did work with Shula in the past. So this is the news on Shula. So Shula has spent the last 6 years with the Rams, working his way up the chain. He started as an assistant linebackers coach in 17 to 18, then became the outside linebackers coach in 19. In 2021, the title changed to linebackers coach, and this past year, the Rams promoted him to passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach. So, like I said, I don't know much about Shula as well, even with this coach. But like I said, the Eagles are keeping their options open. And obviously, Nick and Shula have worked together before, which is not a bad thing either, you know what I mean? So it's not a horrible thing, but should be interesting, you know? So when you look at the whole entire coaching search as a whole, you know, if you guys noticed, they're not interviewing offensive coordinators right now, because they already have their coordinator, okay? They already have Brian Johnson to be the OC of this team, and it's going to happen. Hence why, like I said, we haven't interviewed anybody else for that job. DC, you know, obviously very interesting with some of these coaches they've been bringing in. They've already interviewed two college coaches, two really good defensive minds, the best of the business in college, and now, you know, Chris Schula, Vance Joseph, you know, and some of the guys that have been in the NFL and want to take a shot either for a first year's defensive coordinator like Chris Schula, or a guy like Vance Joseph that has head coaching experience and has been a defensive coordinator as well. Even, you know, even some of the other guys like Sean Desai is another one that worked under Vic Fangio when he was a quality control guy for the Bears in 2021. So they're doing their homework, they're doing their due diligence, they're taking their time. All I want them to do is take their time with this whole entire process. That's the most important thing. To rush it, because some of these other teams, it's like they hire guys quickly, like, and it's just, I understand they do that, but like, I don't know, maybe they feel comfortable with what they have. I don't know, you know, how to not take your time on it. But you can't take too much time on it, because you got to, you know, you got free agency coming up. You got to work with your coaching staff, and if they're not in the building, you got a problem. So you got the draft and everything like that. There's a lot going on. So, yeah, so now you have Jesse Minter. You have Chris Shula now. Jesse Minter is a very interesting one, I got to say. Let me know what you guys think about those coaches in general. The Jalen Hurts contract, when you think that will get signed, and just in general with the coaching staff. Who would you hire as defensive coordinator if you had the choice from what the Eagles have interviewed so far? Only from what the Eagles have interviewed, and if you have your own choice of another defensive coordinator, please leave your comment down below as well. And if you lasted this long in this video, appreciate everybody being here. If you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. We cover the Eagles every single day, and it's going to be a fun offseason. It's going to be a lot of changes. It's going to be a new team going into next year, and, you know, it's time to move on and get ready for bigger and better things. So you guys have a fantastic day. SHAKESQUAD up, follow us live. Peace out, guys. Peace.